Hey everybody! So I decided to film a small little chit chat and mukbang while I eat my delicious plate of food junk. It is not as bad as it looks. I know it looks really bad, but yes, those are tater tots, but I baked them. Still carbs, but anyways, I baked them. I didn't fry them, and actually these are veggie nuggets. So these actually are not chicken, and they're baked as well. Put them in the oven, and they're from the brand called Morningstar, and those are my favorite veggie nuggets. I think these have soy, if I'm not mistaken. So I have some ketchup, and that stuff right there is actually ranch, but it's yogurt based. So I love ranch. I'm a ranch junkie, and it's not so good for you. It's full of fat. But I think I satisfy my craving pretty good with this type of ranch. It's actually pretty tasty. It does not exactly taste like ranch, like a regular ranch, but it has that sourness enough, I think, from the yogurt that it gives you that satisfies that craving. Anyways, let's try one of these. And I love mine with yogurt with ranch and ketchup. These are actually pretty close to tasting like regular chicken nuggets. They have a nice texture. And it tastes really good. I had a long day today. This weekend was my weekend on call. So I literally just got off the clock like a few minutes ago. I was literally like counting down the minutes because they could technically still call you if it's like 4:57. So I was like, ugh. So I did one last call and I drove myself home. My husband is at a friend's house. They had barbecue. He told me to stop by after I was done, but I'm so tired. I just wanted to come home and eat. I mean, and there was going to be food there, obviously, at the barbecue, but I just wanted to be home. So I drove myself home from the last visit that I did. And for you guys that don't know, I'm a nurse. I'm a hospice nurse, so I do home visits. And usually, you know, people call on the weekend that they need a nurse to go out and check them out. And we'll go ahead and do that. So that's what I did. I work Saturday. And I do 8 to 5, and then after 5, the other nurse comes to shift because we're available 24/7, which is nice, especially for this type of setting that, you know, you need a lot of support. So I did a total of 4 calls today, which took up pretty much all day. And it seems like, how could you do 4 calls all day? Well, there's 2 nurses working, one that does like the lower part of the valley where I live, and then the other one does like the upper valley. And 2 of those visits were new patients, and usually when we admit a patient, we'd have to do a 24-hour follow-up visit just to reinforce all the teaching that was in an admission, which usually most of that teaching they really don't remember because like they're so overwhelmed with all the information. So I did 2 of those follow-up visits. So both took me about an hour and a half or 2. And then during that part, I had to go to the office and get supplies for some of these patients. So good. So I did that, and then I had a PRN call, which means as needed call, that they wanted a nurse to go evaluate the patient. And that one was a little bit farther out from where I was at, so it took me a little while to get there. And then I had another call more towards where I live. So you do a lot of driving pretty much. You spend a good time of your shift driving. So that went all day. So I did that all day. And I'm just glad the weekend is over, because I worked yesterday, I worked today, and I have to work tomorrow. The nice part is that I get to pick a day off during the week when you work the weekend, and I know that's their way of like cutting down how much overtime you make, which is fine. So I usually always ask for Friday off, so then I'll have a 3-day weekend. So I'm gonna take Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, I already have an appointment on Friday. Because, I mean, it's really hard when you work during the week to do things, because obviously, like, you have to ask for time off, and I really don't like to ask for time off unless I really have to, or if I have time to take. So I scheduled my dentist appointment for Friday for next week. Well, for this week, along with my husband's, because my husband hasn't had time to go either. So we're gonna go on Friday to the dentist. So this is such comfort food. It's like junk, but it's like not that bad. Well, it is bad. It is bad for you, because I mean, tater tots. It's a lot of carbs. But this is as healthy as it's gonna get. I think if I would have gone to McDonald's and gone this, it would have been worse. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I went to McDonald's earlier for lunch, because I didn't pack any lunch. And I usually pack lunch, but I was so lazy in the morning. I was so tired. Like, I stayed up late last night, and I shouldn't have, but YOLO. Especially if I'm working, you know. So I stayed up a little late, like till 12 midnight, and then by the time I got to bed, then I woke up at 6, and then got dressed, and then, you know, doing all the driving and the heat always kind of makes me really tired. So for lunch, I didn't pack anything, so I stopped at McDonald's. I know, terrible. I usually don't, and usually when I stop, it's like at Subway or something. And I really don't like the meats from Subway. Like, it doesn't really appetize me. So I usually will have like a veggie sandwich with like avocado and like cheese, because you guys know I love cheese. And but today Subway did not seem very, very intriguing to me. So I did stop at McDonald's. So I got like a kid's meal, like a junior burger with cheese. So yeah, not the healthiest options. I could have gone a salad, but I kind of was craving a little burger. So I try to get the smallest one possible. I need like a little drink. Anyways, I'm so glad the weekend is over. I was like literally just 10, 9, 8, and I almost felt like it was like New Year's. Like I was counting down the minutes. And I literally do that every time that I work the weekend. So yep. I eat so fast because I'm so hungry, but I always eat really fast. This is such a weird position, but I didn't feel like getting my camera out and filming. So I was like, I do my phone. It's just so much easier. I know the camera, the quality is probably not that good as more with the camera, but it's just so much simpler. Just put up your phone, and I mean, it's decent. It's not terrible. And I opened the window here, and I'm just here laying in bed. Anyways, I still have paperwork to do, which I'll do later on tonight, because I'm gonna take a break, eat, watch YouTube, relax, and take it from there. I like to put my sauces like separately because I hate credit plates. Like, that's a pet peeve, credit plates. But maybe they're credit because I eat too much. I've never thought about that, but I hate credit. Like when I make salads at the house here, I have to do a bowl because I hate like having to skip the lettuce everywhere and like falling out of the plate. It's really annoying. Or just make a big bowl of salad and eat that. And that's when the awesome ranch comes into place, because, oh man, if I'm already gonna eat a salad, I need to have a good dressing. Like, I think I ate so much Italian dressing because it's like supposed to be the healthier one. That or balsamic. Like, I ate so much, I got so tired of it and so grossed out, so like I can't eat it anymore. So I'm like, if I'm gonna have salad, I need ranch. So this ranch that I bought it at H-E-B, because where I live we have H-E-B. It's yogurt based and the fat content is pretty low. And the front like even says like probiotics. It has probiotics. and like, weird, but okay. And like I said, it tastes pretty good. So, and I'm eating it now. So I'm almost done. What do you guys like? Tater tots, French fries, wedges. I think tots are my favorite. Every time I think of tots, I think of Napoleon Dynamite. I just automatically think about that. And then I think about Tina, the pet he would feed. That movie is either you hate it or you love it. Some people think it's stupid, but I really enjoy like that weird humor, like that, or like Nacho Libre, Nacho Libre. Oh my god, sorry. There's like weird humor. I really enjoy that. I don't even know. I think it has a term. I just don't remember the name. Anyways. Sorry, I didn't mean to fade you off. Anywho, so what's up? Talk to me. Leave me comments. Tell me what you want to see me eat. I'll try my best to fulfill those needs. So I love watching mukbangs. Like, when I tell people, they're like so weirded out. They're like, what? Like, you watch people eat? That's so weird. Like, I don't know. Do you ever tell people that? And what are their responses to you? Like, it doesn't freak them out, but they're like, what? Why are you watching that again? So, I don't know. Anyways, I really enjoy watching mukbangs. It's so relaxing for me. Even if I'm not hungry, like, I'll still watch it. Just because. I guess I just enjoy the company. So, I don't know. I really like to watch Wendy's eating show. Kimi, Honeybee, Mikado Avocado, Misha Eats, something like that. Misha. Who else? Munchies TV, I think. Munchies. The one that's like mukbang, and I'm a terrible singer. Anyways, I really do like to watch and just experience through the food because I'm such a foodie. I am a foodie. Everywhere I go, usually will be like, I'll take a pic of whatever I'm eating just because I like to share. Food is such a thing we use to bond and to share experiences with, and that's one of the biggest things that I like to discuss with people that are in hospice regarding artificial feeding. That means tubes, and ultimately it's your choice of what you decide to do with yourself, with your family member, or whatever. But a big part of living your life is enjoying food and eating. It's like a pleasurable thing, you know? And a lot of times when people get sick, they lose the ability to eat slowly. It's going to happen. So, and of course, you panic. It's normal. You're going to panic if your family member slowly decreases your food content. Their food intake, not content intake. So, you are going to panic. You're going to freak out. Because if they don't eat, they're going to die. But in reality, their disease process is not letting them eat anymore. So, their body eventually stops asking for food, and their digestive system eventually stops working. So that's one of the biggest things that I really like to reinforce about when people don't have tubes. And I tell them that, that people panic and that people get really anxious when people stop eating. But I do tell people that people with tubes still die. Eventually, people that have diseases that will affect the digestion of people, of the person, will still die even if they have a tube. So sometimes that helps make it easier for families to understand that it's okay if you don't put a feeding tube in your family member. It helps with the guilty feeling that people get, because people do feel really guilty when they decide not to do that to their family member. And I can share a personal experience with my mom, because my mom went through hospice and my mom had cancer and she couldn't breathe, and they wanted to put a PEG tube in her, which is a tube that goes in your stomach to artificially feed you, and they wanted to put a tracheostomy because she couldn't breathe. She had COPD as well, aside from the cancer. So they told me, you have to do that. Like, you have to put a tube because she can't eat anymore because she's choking because she can't breathe. And I told them, okay. I was like, is she gonna get better? Like, is she gonna get cured from her cancer if I put those things in? And they're like, well, no. So then I said, well, then I'm not gonna do it. And I said, my mom never wanted any tubes. She never wanted to be artificially fed. And I said, I'd rather just let her eat until she can, and then that's it, So that's what I did. I took her home from the hospital, and I didn't do any aggressive treatment. I did not put a PEG tube. I did not do any tubes, because she had never wanted that. And she made it very clear to me. So we chose hospice care. And she ate until she could. And she ate whatever she wanted. And she stopped eating. And then she went. And this was almost 9 years ago. It's actually going to be pretty soon, in like a few days, next week. I keep saying next week because It's this week because I work the weekend, so I'm like thrown off. But yeah, her anniversary is June 30th, so that will be when she's passed away 9 years ago. So the moral of the story is eating is such a pleasurable thing. It's one of the things that I really look forward to doing. And yes, we have to be healthy, and yes, we should try to consume good things to nourish our body, but you should also enjoy yourself. Everything with moderation. And that applies to a lot of things, everything. Food, alcohol, exercise, anything in excess is bad. So the moral of the story is, talk to your families. You yourself, even if you're not sick and you have an accident and you end up in a situation where you're in a vegetable state and you're not gonna get better, and your family decides that, well, whoever is your next of kin, which would be your husband or your mom or whatever, they have to make a decision of what they're gonna do. So let your family know. Be very clear. Even if you're not sick, sometimes you're just in a bad situation or at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like me, for instance, I'm always on the road. I'm always driving, so my husband already knows. I told him, if I have an accident where I am going to be a vegetable and I'm not going to get better, I'm not going to walk, I'm not going to be myself, please don't do that to me. Don't put any tubes so you can keep me alive. So he already knows. I told him, made it very clear. I said, we're going to be realistic. I said, if maybe there's a chance I'm going to get better and that I'm going to be able to be who I am before anything bad would have happened, I said, then maybe. I said, but if I'm not, don't. So he's already been very made aware. Because the reality is this, like, okay, he's going to put it, like, if you get a tube or whatever, and again, this is my personal opinion. And everybody has a right to make their own choices, You do what is best for you. But if you're talking about quality of life versus quantity, I think quality is always best. But, there's special circumstances. Hospice is very different, like in children. Children are very resilient. Children, sometimes they really come around and turn around, so it's very different, like, versus an adult. So hospice practices vary greatly from children to adults. I work with adults. So this is just my opinion. Like I said, don't take offense if you know somebody or that has a tube or they did this happened, or this is just my opinion. But it's important to know your choices and to know what can be done and what doesn't have to be done, because a lot of the times when you end up in a situation like that, the doctor sometimes will tell you have to do this, and then I guess you always have to ask. This is what you always should ask when you're in that situation: is, okay, so if I do this, like, I'm gonna get better, or my family member is gonna get better, they're gonna be back to normal how they were. So, and if they tell you no, then you're able to decide there what you want to do. So, and in my mom's case, they told me, well, she's not going to get better. Her cancer is going to kill her eventually. So I said, then I can't, why am I going to do that? To prolong her suffering? No. So then I decided not to do that. So my mom, like I said, had made it very clear that that's not what she wanted. So anyways, that was just a little food for thought. I think it's important that people know that people have choices. Sometimes you feel like you don't have a choice, and unfortunately nowadays, sometimes the way doctors present the information, and I'm not, like I said, so there's some doctors that are not like that they're really, really realistic and really good, and they're more into quality versus quantity. I know some awesome doctors like that, but not all of them are like that. So it's important to know what to ask if you're ever in that situation, which no one ever wishes to be in that situation, but sometimes that happens. Life sucks sometimes. It does. You just never know what you're gonna get. Like a box of chocolates. I haven't seen that movie in forever. If you know what movie, comment below. See you guys later. I'm gonna have 2 chicken nuggets. No work on that. Bye.